Hey everybody in YouTube land. We're out here at VHP at the shop. We finally finished this car here. This is a 308 with, I'm trying to mirror all the things, 220cc chamber heads, Pro Comp, CNC, a V7 supercharger, and it's an 86 Mustang. The kit only comes in, you can't get one for 86 or older, you have to 87 and newer. Because the headlights, because they sit in a little farther, the piping usually comes right through this way. Well, it can't come through that way. So we have to go down, around, and up, and so on and so on. Also, don't look at the blue coupler. We tried to get this thing started and it backfired and popped the blue coupler. I'm sorry, the black coupler that we had in there, so we had to put blue ones on for right now, just for the time being, until the customer goes to his car show that he's got going on. I can't remember what it's called, 50 on 50 or something like that, I can't remember. But we're gonna get a black one installed later, but we just had to do this for right now. And then this is the only thing we can do right now until we get a recirculator valve that can be welded to a 3-inch pipe. We couldn't find that. I drove all the way to Reno, so I was there almost, round trip was about 10 hours just to get a recirculator valve, and they didn't have one. They had a blow-off valve for this, but not a recirculator valve. So we had to make this work. So when we can get a recirculator valve that we can weld onto a 3-inch pipe, we'll get rid of this piece here, the recirculator valve, so it looks a little nicer, cleaner, and gets rid of that kind of ghetto looking piece right there, which is we had to run it because that's all we can find right now. So, but other than that, got everything going, got everything cleaned up. We installed long tube headers, so we put that on. This originally had shorties. Put long tubes on, we cut the exhaust, got it to work with the long tubes, welded that up, looks real nice underneath. But yeah, we tried starting it. The car didn't want to start with all that extra piping for the intercooler. We had to get it retuned. The customer is taking it to another shop to get it tuned because he's been tuning his vehicle for him, so he's going to take it there and have him tune it. But as soon as we disconnect the supercharger, it starts up and runs, no problem. But as soon as we put the supercharger on, it does not want to run. And that's when we were trying to get to start, and it backfired and popped off that coupler. So that car, this car here is done. Looks good. The fitment's beautiful. Took quite a while to do it. We had that sucker off and on, off and on, off and on, a bunch of times, trimming things, making sure everything fit, everything worked. And like I said, and then we also had to trim, if you look, it still has the turn signals, but we had to modify the bumper just to get, so we can keep the turn signals, because the way the brackets, the intercooler piping was going, we're not supposed to, we can't keep those, but we were able to make it go out and around, make it it's kind of hard to see, but go out and around, up and over, and it. So that right there alone was a nightmare. And then modifying the rest of this pipe to get it going, and then the recirculator valve coming out, and the hose for the recirculator valve, had to go get a new hose, get that, comes out and around, and through the upper part of the fender and back in to the intake. We had to weld that part of the intake up so we could get that done. We had to cut a couple of the pipes and weld on beads onto the pipes. We spent a lot of time on this car, but it looks good. It will run really nice once he gets it tuned again. But yeah, it looks really good. With this car here, this is the, I believe it was the Highway Patrol car that we did the Holly Terminator in. We got the engine strapped up on top, holding it up. We got the K-member hanging down a little bit, and one of the one of the freeze plugs popped out, so we're putting a new freeze plug in. We got the little tool up there, we're getting that in there. But that's right where the motor mount was. So we're getting this put in. The size of the freeze plug was supposed to be 1.5 inches, but it turns out it wasn't 1.5 inches. It's slightly a little bigger, so we don't know if there was a problem with the block, and that might be the reason why the other freeze plug fell out. But if you can't really see the other side, let me get right by the oil filter. If you look over there, that has a lot of silicone on, so I'm guessing they tried doing that to the other one as well, and it fell out. The center one fell out, and that other one we're not 100% sure. So hopefully that works good. You can see that one right there that's black. That was the one that was in the block when they painted it. So, but these two right here, the farthest one on the left was already in there. We just put the center one in, as you can see, and we had to go. If you can see it, you'll see it's 40 millimeters. 40 millimeters is a little bit bigger than the stock 1.5 inch size. So that's what we had to run. So this is all done. We're gonna put this back together, and it should be done pretty soon.